So, I've been seeing a couple of questions on where exactly would be the best places to use your manuals in Duet Night Abyss. And it's only natural that you would want to know because these commission manuals that we have are very, very limited. Well, I say very limited, but we do not get an infinite amount of them. The only regular source of manuals we get are the green ones as part of your dailies, or if you have the monthly pass, you get one of these per day, but that is a paid option. Every single other one is going to be only available as a direct purchase or as reward from an event or another limited time source. As such, spending your manuals in an efficient manner will help you in the long run, being the most reward efficient that you can. Now, the two missions that are going to be the most valuable to spend your manuals on, at least prior to rank 60, is going to be excavation and defense, because these two missions are going to be the primary source of a lot of materials that you are likely going to need an outsized amount of in the earlier game. That, of course, being the coins, which you will be spending a lot between your character ascensions and your weapon crafting, and the Lunar Mementos, which you will be spending a lot, mostly for weapon crafting in the earlier game, and a tad bit with your character skill upgrades as well. You will also need a lot more of these once you reach trial rank 60, because those character skill rank up materials are going to require a significant amount more Lunar Mementos than they did before. So naturally, those two missions are going to be the primary spot where I would recommend spending your manuals, especially when we're talking about the wave 3 of defense and the wave 5 of excavation, because those are the two waves that give you the highest amount of resources per their individual completions, and as such would be the best spot to spend your purple manuals. Especially because not only are those two materials heavily needed going forward in Duet Night Abyss, also due to the fact that these two missions are the longest missions that you will likely have to clear on a regular basis for said materials. After level 60, we obviously know that excavation becomes a lot less valuable than using the Mystic Maze to grind gold. However, defense still remains very valuable, especially if you're spending manuals on them, because you do need these skill materials and you do need these Lunar Mementos. However, when you're out of manuals, it does look like that the chase mission may be a bit better for you to run for the Lunar Mementos. Granted, that's only if you have a well-optimized team to run it with. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit more iffy. I'd say if you're able to clear it consistently within 10 minutes or less, it probably would be better than defense, because you will also be getting the Carmine globules as well, so you're essentially grinding two activities at once, and you will still be getting a bit of gold, though that's not typically going to be as much of an issue going forward at rank 60 and beyond. And that leaves all the other activities that we have, including capture, escort, mediation, exploration, termination, and hedge. And I'm going to say that it's largely not going to be advised to spend manuals on a lot of these missions due to other things about the manuals, because the manuals don't just double the mission completion rewards, the manuals also increase the drop rates of all enemy drops, including secret letter clues. So that means not only do you want to use manuals to save time, but you also want to use manuals in spots where you would get a lot of enemy defeats. And while largely you won't be getting very many enemy defeats in capture, escort, mediation, a bit less so in termination and hedge, but you will get significantly less compared to other missions. Exploration, you do wind up getting a lot more enemy defeats in those missions. However, you do also complete it very quickly, and it is a very good farm for secret letter clues outside of using manuals. This may be a good spot to use your green manuals if you just want to get through it faster for these materials. The best spot which I would recommend you use your green manuals is actually going to be for the Nachteuer manual going forward, because you're going to be completing these missions a lot, and not only that, these are also going to be high enemy density missions, and they're going to alternate between expulsion, which is essentially just defeat 100 enemies, and defense, which will also have somewhere around 100 minions. But why would I recommend using them here more so than in basically any of the other missions, outside of the fact that you're obviously getting a lot more enemy defeats compared to the other ones? The main thing is that Demon Wedges are looking to be one of the heaviest resource sinks going forward into the end game of Duet Night Abyss. That has to do with how gold wedges kind of function in their upgrades. Most gold wedges are going to be very similar, if only slightly better than their purple counterparts, and that is until you start upgrading them with additional copies. Now for the first two, it will only require one. For upgrade 3 and 4, it'll require 2 wedges per upgrade. And for the final 5th upgrade, it'll cost 3 wedges, which means if you want to have a fully maxed out gold demon wedge, you would need 10 demon wedges crafted. And each of these gold demon wedges also requires an amount of purple demon wedges, typically varying depending on the blueprint, but it does seem to be somewhere around 5, and some even require other demon wedges as well. So this one requires 3 purples and 5 blues. And let me tell you, some of these demon wedges are going to make you pull your hair out when it comes to their drop rates. And the last thing that you would probably want to do for your own personal sanity is go through a lot of these demon wedge missions with getting only 1 drop and then seeing like 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row where it's just not giving you the one that you want at all. This one, Lilith's Edge, took me so long to get. I actually wound up crafting basically every other wedge, or getting really close to, until I just got really lucky and got like 3 of these in a row, using green manuals. Now obviously when it comes to green manuals, you can kind of spend them however you would need. I would definitely use them in a way that just kind of helps you get through certain missions faster, essentially, get through the rewards sooner. I personally don't feel that Edge, Termination, Mediation, Escort, or Capture are any real huge strain in the amount that you need to clear for the upgrades. Additionally, when it comes to the demon wedges, and this is like the second part where I say that it's a bit better to spend them there, because you're not just getting the demon wedges that you're targeting right here, whether they're for an upgrade or just the ones that you selected, you're also getting more selections from these demon wedges in here in the random reward pool. And these random demon wedges are going to give you significantly more grief than anything you can find in here. So that's just my main recommendation for the green demon wedges. But that's just my main recommendation for the green manuals. Now when it comes to manuals themselves, I do have a few tips on exactly how to utilize them the best. That's essentially going to boil down to, don't turn greens into blues, but always turn blues into purple. So 3 greens into 1 blue is essentially a 50% loss in reward multiplier, because each of these is 100 reward multiplier, meaning it doubles it, and each of these is 200% multiplier, which essentially just triples the rewards. Which means that you are losing 200% multiplier doing this crafting thing right here. This is heavily disadvised. You should really only be doing this if you just have like literally no time to play the game at all. Like you don't even have time on the weekends to play at a decent rate. That would really be the only time where turning greens into blues would be worth it. Now, when it comes to turning blues into purples, it is actually the only manual exchange that doesn't have any loss in reward multiplier whatsoever. And the reason why I recommend this is that a purple is not really a huge step up from a green in terms of saving time. It's essentially a 50% increase to grind efficiency compared to using a green manual, but a purple is a much higher reward multiplier, being, well, 800, which would essentially give you 9 reward claims compared to 2 or 3, which would be a significant increase in efficiency. And because they don't really take any extra multiplier to craft the purple manual, is going to help you a lot more, especially if you're using them for those longer missions, like I recommended for excavation and for defense. on their final waves respectively. That's definitely what I'm going to be doing going forward, but I am definitely going to be looking a bit more into chase grinding, seeing just how quickly we can get this consistently. The difficult part with this one is that it is going to require multiplayer for the best clears, and not just multiplayer, like 3 to 4 player multiplayer. So I am going to try and optimize this as much as I can. It might make its way into its own video later in the future, but for the time being, that is essentially all of my tips regarding the manuals for Duet Night Abyss. If you are enjoying my content covering this game and would like to see more in the future, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Also, I do have a Discord server, link is in the description down below if you'd like to connect with me or other people playing Duet Night Abyss, play with other people, join co-op missions and all that sort. Be sure to join my Discord down below. I originally tried to record this on stream, but I did wind up neglecting a few important pieces of context and details, so unfortunately I did have to re-record this here. So if you were one of the people who were there on stream with me that day, I apologize. It wasn't my intention to exclude you. Stuff happens. I will be sleeping much better, don't worry. But with that all out of the way, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.